Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk again about the Torso T1, this time paired with the Assimil8or. I'm not the best when it's about programming drums, beat, grooves, so the T1 has always been a tool that I reached for because it's super convenient to use, it's really fast and fun to get something going in literally minutes. I set up things very similar. I have some templates and I'm gonna show to you. So whatever other tool I'm using, this will work mostly the same. In this case it's a eurorack, but I could have used my machine drum, my Nord drum, or also some template that I did on Ableton, where I have different, simpler, linked to different MIDI channel. So what you just listened was 6 channel of the Assimil8or. This is an 8 track sampler, but I used just 6. And of course I used just 6 track of the T1. So we will keep it simple. So before going on, as usual, some way you can support my page. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Buy from the affiliate link. You will spend exactly the same amount of money, but I will get a tiny percentage no matter what you're gonna buy. And become a Patreon. On Patreon, I do one-on-one. You will find tons of exclusive videos and content, and you will get samples, and I'll reply to all of your questions, and so on and on and on. Okay, so let's get back to what we were doing. Let's talk about the setup. So the T1 is powered by Ansible. It goes out as a MIDI into the Assimil8or. Assimil8or has this module called Locutus, basically transform this module in a full-fledged MIDI sampler. And it's really convenient because then you don't have to patch anything and you can send all MIDI CC. It became probably one of the best sampler you can get. We go into the C-leg stereo. I could have used the separate output, but for practicality today, we just go out as a stereo. I have the first 6 channel here mapped. So as you can see, easy. Each channel, whenever you open a new pattern, is mapped to its relative MIDI. So track 1 is channel 1. So I didn't have to do basically any preparation. And here I have a simple kit that I built. Assimil8or is pretty weird in a way it works. Basically, you can load different folders, and in the folders you can have kits. And the fun part is like you can load while the thing is going. For example, now I can load this one, and it's a new sound. I can load the 808. And as you can hear, the things keep going. So it's very cool for performance because you can create different kits or different variation of kits. And during the performance, you can just switch them and it's seamless. So that's great. But let's go back to the basic one and let's build something so I show you why I love using the T1. So I generally like to work with 4, 6, no more than 6 rhythm track, otherwise things can get too messy. Let's load an empty pattern. So I talked about that before, and it's super simple to get things going. Right now I have here the kit, here the MIDI channel, so I know that here I have my kick, and here it is going. So what I usually do to have some interesting stuff going is like I put together a basic pattern. So let's do it. And let's for now not use the snare. With pulse, you add pulse in a Euclidean way. I like then to control and rotate to have a different shifting of the pulses. And we already have something that goes. So you can actually do that live and see how it's easy to get into places. Once you get here, I like to work on my kits and find something that I like. So I have many here. So let's get, for example, the 808 or the 606 that I like. So this is the first step. I could change thing. Then I start to work on the rhythm and create variation. First, I can mute everything. There's one feature that it's really powerful on T1 that I think it's often overlooked. It's cycles. Cycles, whenever you load an empty pattern, you have 4 cycles. And as you see, basically the same pattern repeats itself for 4 times. On a standard unused pattern, these 4 cycles are exactly the same. But things change when you press one, double press one, it starts blinking, and you see also bank become red, means that you are editing one cycle, and also you are keep listening just to that. And now I can, for example, double press pulses and change something in that. So now when I press bank again, I will go again through the cycle. As you can hear, that change. So this is the first way you can obtain variation. And the cool part is like you can do for each parameter. So for example, let's go on the last cycle, and I want to have the sustain very short like that. And let's bring some other sound. Now, as you see, every cycle that you change has a different color. So let's put less snare. So I like the snare, for example, to change at the last cycle. So again, select the snare, double press in cycle, I go here, the last cycle, and maybe here again I put the sustain to minimum. As you hear, it's quite shorter, and I can also raise the pitch. Maybe I had the repeat. Okay, now let's play everything. Can you hear? And so like that, I start creating things that, yes, it's a simple pattern, but it's evolving. And then we will start adding the random part, which is the cool one. So let's go back. Let's keep adding things. All right, for this, I want to start adding random right away. So I will press random and add the random repeats and random time. So it will create ratcheting here and there. One thing that I like to do also is start adding groove or accent, which change the way the pattern is played. There's one thing also you can do. Whenever you press pattern, whatever modification you do, it's on the entire pattern. I like to press pattern, control, and then go in voicing style and put one of these 3, because the 3 top ones are for chords. So now it's gonna be a monophonic machine for each channel. Then I like to do the same pattern, control, and listen to the different groove. I pick one, and then I will add some. And as you can hear, you start having a different groove, a different swing, a different feeling, which is nice. This could be something melodic. Why don't we try? So the cool things of using MIDI with the Assimil8or is the fact that I can change the pitch without having to patch anything to the CV A, B, or C. So now I can, and I can put some pitch, and have something like that. Of course, some C-leg help. So let's make this more interesting. Let's add different velocity on random. So now this will have a different velocity each strike, and also sustain. Basic sustain a little more. We can add some repeat. With repeat and random, it breaks this sort of arpeggiation, so it's interesting. I would also maybe put one step less, so it's a different rhythm, polyrhythm. We are going in the polyrhythm thing. And we can bring the last thing. The last is the ride. We can pitch. Let's put a probability. And it's already interesting. Now, the things that you can do is start working on the cycles of all the things. For example, I want to use, let's listen to this. So let's go in the cycle of this. Let's pick the last one. And as we did with the other one, we will put the sustain to the minimum, but we will put more velocity and maybe change the pulses. Actually, I want to do a ratcheting here. So double click the pulses. Now I can do control and pick one step. So I have this new feature that has been added in the latest firmwares where I can do modification per step, which is powerful. So on this step, which is blinking, and this is red, meaning that I am actually editing the single step, I can do repeats. Like this. And maybe I will put velocities already to the maximum. Something like that. When I'm ready and I could now edit other step. For example, I can press this and I can do stuff like that. Whenever I'm ready, I just press bank. And now I'm out of the single step editing. So let's unmute things. Now, another thing that I really enjoy do it's have a listen on what happened if I play with the temporary. With the temp button, it's super cool because I can press temp, pattern, and now the machine works as a control all, similar to the Electron box. So whatever I do now, it will be applied to all the machine. But whenever I will remove the temp, it will go back to the pattern we create. For example, it's random, yes, but sometimes it's very fun. And you can do whatever and get in very crazy place. So, as you can see, this was a super fast way to get along with that. The other advice that I give you is like prepare different kits, and when you have something going, load other kits and listen what happened. This is cool. Now I'm controlling the noise of the C-leg with the planar. And this is super fun because you can keep going and going and going. I have many. Let's listen to something else that I created. Like, I really love to have this pattern thing and just play with it. It's obviously a great idea to separate the channel. For example, if you are using something like a rhythm, you can separate and record everything in overbridge, do all of these weird glitch performances, and then have a way to cut and edit your thing. Another cool thing is like how to use the mute as a live performance too, because for example, you can play stuff like that, temporary, unmute, but it will not happen until I depress temp. Now do random thing. And go there. So this is kind of stuff that I would never be able to program by myself. But with the T1, it's super simple. And that's it. Of course, it works really well, I think, to use all the possibilities, all the randomness, all the velocity, sustain, and changing with instruments that have MIDI implementation. Of course, if I would use it with something very simple like an 808, doesn't even have MIDI, so it wouldn't be as fun. But with the Assimil8or, it's great because for each channel, I can then pitch and create a new sound very, very fast. This is super cool too. Voicing also is very interesting to use because it will change the voicing of the chord or the arpeggio or the notes you are doing. So it's very performative friendly. And that's it. So the idea here was like the T1 can really be your best friend when you use it for rhythm. And a lot of people obviously keep asking me which one is better, this one or the Oxy. You guys know by now that these are my two weapons of choice when it's about sequencer. I use the Oxy more as a melodic tool. Also, initially, Oxy was a deliberate instrument, didn't have a lot of generative tool, they added it, but it was something that you sit down and program things, so it's a deliberate thing. While at the beginning, the T1 was a completely algorithmic machine, so of course you can create melodies, of course you can create rhythm, but it's all about the algorithm that the machine had. So you need to have, as the first video did, a conversation with it, which was thrilling, and it still is. They added a lot of new feature in which that made this machine now a full-fledged sequencer. You can basically create any kind of sequences, melodic or not. The advantage over Oxy could be that is a little more immediate in creating fast rhythm, fast ideas. And it has 16 MIDI channels, 16 track at the same time, which could be useful, especially if you do rhythm. You can do that in Oxy too, because in Oxy you have the possibility of use the multi-track, so each of the track can have 8 track inside, so it could be 32 channel. But I still feel that if I need to create a melody chord, I reach out for the Oxy. And if I have to create rhythm, I reach out for the T1. Also, when I feel really that I don't have ideas and I want some help, the T1 is a good tool to have. So, to reply the question, there's no better or worse. They are both great tool. I would probably advise to get something like the Oxy as your first sequencer, because it covers more ground. It's a little more easy to understand at the beginning, and yeah, it allows you to have a more coverage and more bread and butter. But if you can then add another sequencer, the T1 is really unique. It's a masterpiece as design and how they made something super useful and interesting and easy to use once you learn it without a screen. So that's it. Hope this was interesting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And I'll see you next week. Ciao.